Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Administration, Finance, and Fire Committee meeting, number 2, 2017.
Be careful.
I will now call this meeting to order. Should be, yeah, it don't work, eh?
A lot closer.
See if they can carry it this year.
How's that? Better? Okay. Sorry. Okay, I'll start over. I'd like to welcome all to the Administration, Finance, and Fire Committee meeting, number 2 for 2017. I'll now call this meeting to order. There's a sign-in sheet to the left table, and if you'd read and sign in on the appropriate sheet, that would be great. Just a reminder for council, for the councilors under the confidential item 29-17, you'll see the recommendation. It was added. It's only for information, so it was added late and it's on your desk in front of you right now. Okay. I'd also like to note, just a reminder, members of the public, all cell phones, pagers, and PDAs to be turned off. Additionally, for your information, we are audio-video recording this meeting. My name is Terry Bell, and I'll chair this meeting tonight. Are there any changes in order of items on the agenda?
Yes.
Councillor
Yes,
Trebetta?
Mr. Chair, can we change, just for Mr. Fisher, because he's been a busy man this week, item A 20-17, I'd like to bring that up to item under number 6 right after, if we can.
Okay. Item 9A?
9A,
Yeah, 9A.
to just follow
follow
behind
his report.
report under
Okay.
6A.
Sure, no problem. Everybody okay with that?
So be it.
Yep. Okay, done. Any other, Mayor Joyner?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not a change in order. Is this working? There we go, that's working. Not a change in order, Mr. Chair. I just want to briefly talk about Mayor for the Day contest. We had a Mayor for the Day contest here in West Lincoln, and the winner was Miss Olivia Vermeer. She's from the Smithfield District Christian High. We had a full day today. We started out at 8:30 this morning. I picked her up over at Smithfield District High School, and then from there we came over to the township and met senior staff, and then we hurried off to Regional Council, which I subjected her to 2 regional committee meetings, one being the Public Works Committee meeting this morning, which got a little testy in there, so she got a real sense of what Regional Council is all about. And then we had a side meeting with Commissioner Ron Tripp. And then this afternoon, she actually sat in on the Public Health and Social Services Committee meeting, in which Mayor Jeffs and I are co-chairs of that committee. So she was able to basically, Mr. Chair, just read out what you did a second ago. She got to bang the gavel and tell councillors to sit down, shut up, and shut off their PDAs is what she got to do. So, no, not quite like that, was it, Olivia? But it was a lot of fun. And actually, there was a good topic on there on the Public Health meeting. It talked about a study that Public Health is doing right now on teens from the age of 15 to 23. And there was a lot of statistical data talking about tobacco use, opioid use, mental health, what else was it? Alcohol and things like that. So she was very interested in talking with Olivia. She someday wants to be an oncologist. She wants to be a doctor. And the two ladies who were presenting today under the tutelage of our Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Valerie Yeager, Dr. Feller and Rachel, I can't remember her last name, she was able to see what 2 doctors could do and how they present at a council meeting, so she was very impressed by that. And then tonight we went out for a quick dinner, and here we are at the Administration, Finance, and Fire Committee. So everyone, could you please put your hands together for Olivia Vermeer, please. I asked her if she wanted to say a few words, and she said, absolutely not, Mayor. So with that, I'm going to ask her to just take a seat over there if she could for now until her mom and dad comes to pick her up. And Olivia, it's been a slice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Mayor Joyner. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest and/or conflict of interest? Seeing none. Appointments. Note procedural bylaws, section 6.5C, scheduled appointments and/or presentations. 6.5C, each scheduled appointment or presentation shall be allotted a maximum of 10 minutes exclusive of the time required to answer questions from the members of council. Some exceptions may apply. Item A13-17, Mary Champ, Director of Operations for Big Brothers and Big Sisters. Grimsby, Lincoln, West Lincoln, Big Brothers and Sisters, Tim Hortons Bowl for kids' sake. Please come forward, Mrs. Champ. State your name.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Mayor, Council. Is it working now? Is that better? I'll try that again. Good evening, Mr. Chair, Mr. Mayor, and Council. My name is Mary Champ. I'm the Director of Operations for Big Brothers Big Sisters, Grimsby, Lincoln, and West Lincoln. I'm here to thank you on behalf of our Board of Directors, our staff, all our bigs and our littles, for entering a team in our current Bowl for Kids' Sake fundraiser. Big Brothers Big Sisters has been in West Lincoln and Grimsby since 1971. We've run this fundraiser since 1975. It is our most important fundraiser. We are an organization that is entirely non-governmental funded. We get no money outside of our local communities. And our local communities, the support from West Lincoln is overwhelming. But we still need to continually raise funds to offer our programs within our communities. We have 3 programs, new programs that we run inside the schools in West Lincoln. One of them is in-school mentoring, and we run that in every school in West Lincoln. We have 2 new growing programs that are called Go Girls and Game On. They are group-based programs where we provide a facilitator between the ages of 18 and 24 to a group of boys or girls in grade 7 or 8. It is to provide an outlet for discussion with somebody outside of their own family circle, outside of a teacher, outside of someone in authority, to talk about cyberbullying, to talk about body images, healthy eating, talk about smart choices. In these days of cyberbullying, we are finding it very difficult in this age group, that girls and boys are having a difficult time getting beyond that struggle. National statistics have proven out that this kind of group behavior helps boys and especially girls through this difficult time. All our schools in West Lincoln are anxious to put this program in. But as you know, it's very difficult. We have to raise funds so that we can adequately monitor a child-youth relationship. This year, in the last 4 years, our insurance has risen 400%. It is the problem of society today. It's not a problem, but we have that kind of insurance needed in case of anything. Nothing has ever happened to us, but nationally we need to maintain that. This is why I want to thank the town for coming out and supporting us. You continue to support us, have continued for years. Thank you very much. And we are very excited to say that as of this week, we were able to start a Game On program in St. Martin's School. It's the first one out here, and hoping to have the Go Girls running at college in the spring, depending on how this fundraiser goes. So thank you all very much, and I hope to see some of you on Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Champ. And if you could leave a copy of your presentation with the clerk.
Yep.
Does council have any questions or comments? Mayor Joyner?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say, Mary, thank you so much for doing what you do with Big Brothers and Big Sisters here in West Niagara. You know, I was at an opening day, let's call it. It was at the Meridian Center, and there was a very important key fact there, and it had to do with a number. Can you please explain that number, please?
There are 400 children waiting on a wait list to receive a mentor in West Niagara. Every child should have a mentor that needs one. And because none of our agencies are funded by the government, we have to do it solely in fundraisers. The mayor was kind enough to say he hoped he could get one off the wait list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I meant that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there should ever be 400 children.
There
That
should never be 400
No.
children.
And I know that this fundraiser is a very important fundraiser for Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I'm really hoping that this is truly a successful year, that we can kind of dive into that number and at least do at least 200, get
Yes,
200 kids
and-
off the list.
And remembering that this is a national fundraiser, that it's run all through Niagara. So if you can't bowl in the one out of Grimsby, Lincoln, that there's one in St. Catharines, there's one in Niagara Falls, there's one in South Niagara. So this is a national organization and a national fundraiser. So I hope you come out and bowl.
Thank you. One last question through you, Mr. Chair. What is the theme this year?
It's Canada 150.
Very
It's going to be a
appropriate.
happy birthday party. So
Thank you.
Mayor.
Thank you again, Mrs. Champ.
Thank you.
Okay, next is item A4-14, Stephen Baker, sorry, had it right the first time, Stephen, and Gordana Musher. She's a member of the Joint Accessibility Committee. It's an update on the activities of the JAAC and new social media program. Do you want to come forward and state your name, please?
Good evening. It's nice to be here. I'm Stephen Barker. I'm chair of the Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee of Niagara. We haven't really come to Smithville council meetings in quite a while. We usually like to get around because we're really not a well-known committee. We've been around since early 2000s, and we're a unique accessibility committee because we actually represent Niagara-on-the-Lake, Thorold, Lincoln, West Lincoln, Pelham, and Grimsby. Usually accessibility committees are just one town or one city. So what we actually do is when the provincial government passes legislation and policies for the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act, we help the municipalities run those through so it's all smooth and running perfect. So we've come tonight because we've had several projects this past year, and we usually go out when there's new buildings being built and we review them and for accessibility. Not that I can tell there's a lot of accessibility, but other members can. We have people who are in chairs, walkers. Not everybody has a disability, so it's kind of an even group. And we've also do our multi-year accessibility plans so that the towns are up to date with all the new AOTA policies going through. And we've done a customer service training module, just recently updated it, and it's for municipal workers to be trained with people with disabilities. So we do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and just recently, just because we're not so well known, we've started our own Facebook group. So Gordana here is going to actually talk to the council about the Facebook group. It's links with helpful advice and happy, positive things that have to do with accessibility. And hopefully you'll all like it. Like, go on and click like, because the more viewers we have, the better it is. So I'll turn it over to Gordana, and she can let you know about it.
We do have a PowerPoint presentation, which will be shared with you. But we do have our Facebook page, and we really feel strong in regards to the connection of Facebook and using this platform as a communication tool. Now, we know Facebook has been around for a long time, and social media has been really a very strong platform for many users. We started off with Facebook as social media. We are a volunteer group as well. It takes a lot to manage it, and we want to make sure the tools that we applied on there was important, and the changes that we're making and what accessibility has changed in our community, and we wanted to connect with all of you. As you know, and I won't talk too much about it, we want to embrace this new platform where we can spread the news, increase our awareness, build our audience, and have you as our influencers here at council and all members in our community to understand how accessibility works in your community and share that knowledge. We will have a number of tips, photos, and even practicing accessibility on our social media by making sure we tag photos, making sure that it does follow the accessibility guidelines, everything that we're promoting and making accessible, making it available in the community. So those are things that are important. Using social media is a fun tool. It's not a scary thing to use. It's an opportunity, again, to have our voice and have a virtual hand out into our community and worldwide. So stories that we do share will be within our community, but however, we are reaching out to different communities around the world and sharing those good news stories. Good news or bad news, or opening up that conversation on social media is important. It's a great way to start and keep engaging. So I do encourage you all to go to our Facebook. We're 67 strong in likes, which is still a very short milestone. However, we are looking forward to increasing that, and helping us is you yourselves and everyone in the community. And please reach out and speak to us virtually on social media, on our Facebook page, and have an opportunity to engage in a conversation. Those are where the conversations start, and we begin with our social media. So yes, our Facebook page is at JAAC Niagara, and I promise you we will send you the link, and I encourage you to like us as well. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your presentation, and if you could leave a copy with the clerk, or make sure she gets it.
Yes.
Is there any questions or comments? Mayor Joyner?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Stephen, thank you. Gordana, thank you so much for your presentation here. It's great to see that you're getting into social media. One of the gentlemen that I follow on social media is a gentleman by the name of Mr. Stephen Lepofsky. If you could ever get as many followers as Mr. Lepofsky, you'd be doing something. I'll tell you, that guy, he tweets out amazing. There's probably 10, 15 tweets a day. And it's not only his own material, it's all the material like the JAAC and like the Niagara Region Accessibility Committee that feeds material into his Twitter account and Facebook account too as well. So together you're definitely going to get the word out there on social media that that accessibility is something to understand, and people should understand it in a big way. So thank you for your presentation, and good luck with your social media, and let's get to 267
By Friday.
by Friday for sure. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? No? Seeing none. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Gordana.
Terry.
Okay. Next is item A, 15-17. Mr. Dominic Vancheska, and I don't want to mess up your last name. I can't pronounce it right, so I'll just call you Doug. Doug Rappeljay. Right with J. They're here to give you an update on the Niagara age-friendly developments.
Mr. Chair and Mr. Mayor and councillors, thank you for this opportunity to come and bring you up to date on some of the developments that are happening across Niagara in the area of age-friendly developments. I'm Dominic Ventresca. This is Doug Rappeljay. We are volunteers with the Niagara Age-Friendly Community Network. And, okay. So Doug and I are volunteers with the Niagara Age-Friendly Community Network. And we have been here before, and we're here to give you now a little bit more of an update on what's happening, to inform your council on what developments you may consider going forward. Also, I'm just going to reach across here soon. So I'm going to gloss over some of the information that I've already presented once before. It doesn't want to seem to work, so we'll just go with that. I'm going to gloss over the information I've already presented here before, although you have quite a number of people in the audience here who may be interested in some of the details. And then Doug Rappeljay will conclude with information that I think will inform your council's decision on potential next steps for your municipality. So, if I could just get this to... From the beginning, hang on.
Why, Joe? There we go.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. So what I hope to do tonight is go over this concept of a new age that older adults in your community and communities across Canada represent, seizing the opportunity for social and economic development in your township, also knowing about and being guided by the Niagara Aging Strategy, and lastly, the possible next steps for an age-friendly West Lincoln, specifically in reference to the potential for your moving forward with an age-friendly advisory committee. First of all, this notion of the new age. Today's older adults are different than yesteryear's seniors. Most of today's older adults are increasingly well, active, living longer, healthier. They're contributing to your community with expertise, life experience, volunteer time. They're providing valued support to their families, consumers in the local economy, and also their donors to worthy causes. In Niagara, there are some statistics that are compelling to take a look at. Niagara has 18.8% of its adults over 65, compared to Ontario, which has just over 14%. West Lincoln has about 12% of its population over the age of 65. And it's predicted that Niagara region will increase in its aged 55 and older to be 27, or at least 27% in 2006 to 36% in 2031. And here's a quick look at Niagara demographics. Niagara region being in around the middle, 18.8% on average. Niagara on the Lake, 25.6% of its population over 65, and West Lincoln at 12%. The reason for this happening in this 55-plus category, there are a lot of people who are the baby boom generation who are already here in Niagara and staying here and enjoying living here, so they're part of the basis causing this rising tide of older adults. But also there are a lot of people moving into Niagara from other parts of Ontario, particularly in the GTA. We're very attractive, and they're bringing, of course, their incomes and their assets and so on. So basically being age-friendly is taking advantage of an economic opportunity. Younger generations no longer represent the biggest growth market. Baby boomers will be numerically superior over the coming decades, and they'll control the bulk of wealth and spending. In fact, the spending that boomer households do is 66% more on goods and services than millennial households. So that really speaks to the need to address the needs of older adults and capitalize on their economic driver. In fact, Mayor Joyner was referring earlier to the committees at Niagara Region. I know that the Planning and Development Committee there recently received a report from economists that pointed out that the attraction of older adults to Niagara is one of the economic drivers that's helping to stimulate the economy here in Niagara. So the need to seize the opportunity. As a council, you may want to consider learning more about being age-friendly, knowing more about the strategy and what economic opportunities exist. You may also want to engage your older adults in getting input into town developments and other planning issues. And you may want to create an age-friendly community advisory committee, as 7 other local municipalities in Niagara already have. So just to let you know a little bit more about where Doug and I come from, we're part of the volunteers that created this Niagara Aging Strategy, but we had Trillium grants to assist us since 2009. We've gone around raising awareness, helping people understand what age-friendly is being all about, and then the Niagara Aging Strategy was created. The vision was a caring community, optimizing opportunities for overall well-being, enhancing quality of life as people age. So it's not just a seniors initiative, it's an all-ages initiative, and the tagline is a community for all ages. What's good for older adults is often good for everybody in the population. The Niagara Aging Strategy, I'll just point out to you here, it's this document here, and there's some other accompanying documents. It identifies a number of action plans that we're recommending municipalities undertake, one of which is looking at an advisory committee, and I'll leave it just at that. There's goals, there are 5 overarching goals involving older adults and leadership and engagement in their communities, creating active and positive lifestyles. This goes into the area of parks and recreation and so on. optimizing health and wellness, services and supports, and a supportive infrastructure. And that basically means things like housing and long-term care, et cetera. Now, the consultant we had hired went across all the municipalities, and here in West Lincoln went to Legion Villa and consulted with a lot of older adults. I've taken here a selection of ideas that came from the informal groups. Legion Villa ideas would be included in here. Creative housing programs. So these are older adults inputting into what they think a community should have to respond to their needs. Home maintenance and renovations programs. Supports to allow people to stay at home. Walkable communities with walking and cycling paths that have benches and washroom access. Better transit, both within the municipalities and intermunicipally. Ramps to store entrances. Pedestrian crosswalks with longer walk signals. Better trained staff in retail and elsewhere with sensitivity to the needs of older adults. More intergenerational involvement, so they don't want to be isolated. They want to be involved with other parts of the community, other age groups. Local doctors' clinics and improved access to long-term care homes. So your council may want to consider, when we say this respectfully, some possible steps that other councils in Niagara and elsewhere are considering. Raising awareness of what age-friendly principles are among your management and staff. Investing in easy-to-achieve items that, again, benefit all ages. Larger font signs or larger font on road signs, more curb cuts, walking paths, park benches. Assigning a staff member as a champion for age-friendly to oversee your strategy. Developing a strategy and how you're going to capitalize on this economic opportunity you have in your community. Perhaps joining the World Health Organization's Age-Friendly Cities Network. Requesting a staff report to council on what next steps you might take to become more age-friendly, including, and there are age-friendly community grants that municipalities are eligible for to assist in this regard. And lastly, creating an age-friendly community advisory committee to regularly provide an age-friendly lens for your municipality and your community's interests. So the age-friendly advisory committees is where I'm going to turn this over to Doug. Doug has had lots of experience with age-friendly communities, particularly in Welland. Welland, Pelham, and Thorold are kind of like our poster child communities where they've got committees in hand. So Doug's going to tell you a little bit more about that briefly.
Thanks very much for this opportunity. Most municipalities, as Dominic has said, have established advisory councils, and there are a couple others in the process of considering them. Welland, Pelham, Thorold includes municipal councillors and city appointees who report to council, and I think that's an important point. These advisory committees are accountable to council in bringing forward recommendation. Engaging older adults to formally apply age-friendly lens to planning and activities. Also, just to give you some examples of advisory committee activities, the advocacy for community hospice. I'll just tell you that in Welland, it was on our very first agenda. I was appointed when the first council in the region, which was Welland in 2008, I chaired it for the first 8 years, and on the first agenda, I put on the need for hospice and palliative care services in Welland. And it sat there every committee meeting for about probably 3 years, till finally we partnered with the Hospice Niagara, and we now have in Welland a hospice visiting program, a hospice daycare program. We have a hospice visiting program, and we have an office at McMaster for the hospice program. And our committee will be recommending at our next meeting that we advocate for a hospice residence in Welland, because South Niagara doesn't have them. Both are in North Niagara. So that gives you some idea. In Welland, we recommended benches along the waterway. It was approved by council. Washrooms, it was approved by council. Larger road signs, as they replace them in Welland, will be all larger. We have advocated for affordable housing, and in Pelham they held a forum with developers, which was very successful. Also in Pelham, they go into Sobeys and have information sessions so that people come in and out and this is all done by volunteers in the council. Community needs surveys. Port Colborne just did one recently, and Thorold did a survey of services and needs in that community. Awareness, rising community sessions celebrating the age-friendly June 21st. We have, and we're hoping that we will get a good turnout of elected officials. We have coming the Minister of Senior Affairs. We have a panel from different communities in Ontario who are going to talk about age-friendly and what they have done in that area. And we will have Hazel McCallion as the keynote speaker. Now, how could you get a better representative of aging than Hazel? So Hurricane Hazel will be there as our speaker. But I just want to mention just a few other things that we produce an annual report that goes to council and highlights the work of the committee, often includes recommendations. We host events, like we host the official opening of Senior Citizens Month every year, and we're just in the process, I think probably the first, to design a Senior Citizens Month flag that we will ask the mayor and the council to fly in Welland. We host public education events on subjects like elder abuse, mental health in seniors, and really issues that affect seniors. We host a round table with members of parliament. As I mentioned, in Port Colborne, they did an age-friendly needs assessment, and Thorold did the survey on seniors. The committee give a strong voice to seniors. We get a fair amount of coverage through Cogeco, bringing to public attention the needs of seniors. We speak at service clubs, churches. We have a newsletter that we produce every 4 months that goes out into the public, and we're going to have that on the website. We produce promotional material that, again, as Dominic said, it's all ages, so we had these go into schools, they're bookmarks, and into libraries that, again, promote the age-friendly movement. The committee, I believe, helps dispel the idea that seniors are a burden in our communities, but rather demonstrate how they contribute, as Dominic was saying, economically, as volunteers, supporting community causes. And I think if you talk to any of the councils where they have advisory councils, they have very much appreciated and supported the work of the council. Our advisory committee presented to the Welland Pelham Chambers the need for more age-friendly businesses, and out of that we created a guide creating an age-friendly business in Welland and Pelham, and they have since added a Ruby Award for the age-friendly business. And I've done the survey the last couple years of the businesses that were nominated, and it is really encouraging to see how businesses are changing with low counters in drugstores, large washrooms, better lighting, automatic doors, and we're really proud of how this, we believe, has encouraged them to do that. I told you about Hospice Niagara, and that's really been a very successful program. So I just want to conclude by saying that I've had the privilege, as I said, of chairing the Welland one and being involved in helping get them started in other communities. And the one thing that I think has helped them be successful is the support we have received from staff in the various communities. I know in Welland, we could not have accomplished what we have without that support, and of course, the ongoing support and encouragement of Welland City Council. And when I talk to other councils, they've had the same experience, that the councils have very much appreciated the work. And as was pointed out, there's no segment of our population growing faster than people like me. Thank you. And
Thank you very much for your presentation. Council, any questions, comments? Councilor Dan?
I'd just like to thank you both very much for your presentation. I was not on council when you came the last time, so I appreciated that you went through the beginning again, as I sure that many of the people in the room here also appreciated. I think that we're just on the cusp of really looking at what we need to be doing for the seniors in our area, so I think that this is a very timely presentation, and I really do appreciate the time that you've taken to do it. Thank you.
Councilor Chichak?
Tim, thank you very much. Again, yes, as Councillor Gannon has said, thank you very much for coming. And I do think that with all the wisdom and experience that you two have grown to have in the other municipalities, that we'll be calling on you in the very near future as we form. I think at the appropriate time, this council will be putting forward an advisory committee that will help us to understand those things that we probably either take for granted or we just haven't gotten our heads around just yet. So thank you so much for coming.
Any other council, or Mayor Joyner?
Yes, me too. I'd like to thank you both for coming here a second time, actually. And we've kind of taken upon ourselves, both the clerk and I, to actually take some of your words to heart. And you mentioned some other municipalities across Niagara already have age-friendly initiative committees. And you also mentioned that 3 of them are Welland, Pelham, and Thorold. So the clerk and I did a little research. We actually called and got their terms of reference. And from those templates, like, you know, why reinvent the wheel? If you know, Doug, I know that you've worked very hard with Welland's age-friendly initiative, and Dominic, I know you're very involved in different municipalities. So we called those 3 municipalities, and we've actually come up with the terms of reference that we've actually provided for all members of council here tonight. I guess my question is, why wait? It did say here in the beginning of the agenda that the attachment PowerPoint presentation and the draft terms of reference are here for council's viewing pleasure. My question is to council, and I'd like to see if we could both have a vote on this to see if we could take this terms of reference from its draft form and actually go forward with it and then start the process. You know, we have a couple of major initiatives going on here in West Lincoln. One being in the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to be looking at building a new Legion Villa. What that looks like, we're not really sure just yet. Where it's going to be, we're not sure that either, but we're kind of just in the beginning stages. Secondly, we're going to be building a new MERS, Multi-Purpose Recreation Center, which is going to also have a senior component in it too as well. So, you know, in stating that, I think there's really no time like the present in getting going with this actual committee and get it populated and let's get forward and let's start having these meetings like you mentioned, Doug, and you know, we too could start to be a part of some of your initiatives in Welland and send a representative to mix and mingle with Hurricane Hazel. So at the appropriate time, Mr. Chair, I'd like to take the word draft off of this terms of reference and actually move it forward. And then if we could pick 2 council members here tonight to go forward with this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Joyner. Okay, so hearing that, the recommendation is that draft terms of reference be presented at the next Administration, Finance, Fire Committee meeting for review and consideration. Moved by Councilor Chichak, seconded by Mayor Joyner. Okay, any questions or comments? Mayor Joyner?
So thank you, Mr. Chair. So I second that, just to put it on the floor to be able to talk about it. That is contradictory to what I'm asking here tonight. I'm asking that we don't wait until March to put that forward. I'm asking that we duly move and second it and support it here tonight. And thus saying that, put forward 2 members of council too as well to sit on this age-friendly initiative. I guess I'm pushing up the agenda by 30 days.
Are you asking for an amendment to what's the recommendation is?
No, I'm saying yes. At the appropriate time, I'll be looking for an amendment. So I've seconded to put it on the floor, but I will be voting no to have it come back in March. I want it to be dealt with tonight.
Councillor Chichak?
We're having a bit of technical problems over here tonight. I echo everything that has been said by the other side of the table with Councillor Ganana and the mayor. I guess when I read the terms of reference, I thought that they still needed to have some discussion, because I think what we don't want to do is set up a committee that doesn't know what they report to and where they report to, and it's an advisory committee. And we need in this terms of reference the fact that there will be regular reporting to a subcommittee or a standing committee of council and what it is we're looking for. So with that missing, I thought it was prudent that we don't get off to a bad start. And I understand the eagerness of the mayor, and I share his enthusiasm, and I really want to see this going. But I think, as the clerk so kindly reminds me whenever I want to do something quickly, we don't get a second chance to make a first impression. I think I'm paraphrasing the clerk's words, but that's very close. So the reason I suggested we do it is that we might then be able to have members of the community come out in March, and if they found reason to give us additional information on our draft terms of reference, they could advise us as their first task, as well as our picking a counselor and putting together what we thought should move forward. So I would love to see this go forward. I don't want, this particular terms of reference doesn't say where this committee reports to, and it is an advisory committee, and it is an advisory committee of the public, and I want to be real clear so that there's no misunderstanding as we move forward. So I'd like to see the motion we have on the floor put to a vote, and then do it in March when everyone's had a chance to look at it. Members of the public here tonight could have a chance to participate as well. Thank you.
Councillor Bilsma for first time.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm kind of echoing what Councillor Chichak has said, and I think we should just put this as a recommendation to kick it back down to staff for them to come back to us in March with a recommendation so we can tie off what I think is some important loose ends.
Okay. Thank you. Mayor Joyner for a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for indulging me. So the clerk and I thought of that, actually, and we were thinking, what committee would it come back to? And actually, if you turn to the bottom of page 27 under agendas and minutes, it says preparation of agendas and minutes shall be the responsibility of the secretary. Minutes shall be approved by the committee prior to being submitted to the Administration, Finance, and Fire Committee. I believe that's the committee that we're in right now, Mr. Chair. So in saying that, I believe we have covered all our bases. I don't believe that there's any reason to kick it back to staff, because staff has done an excellent job in putting together this terms of reference. Can it be tweaked going forward? Absolutely. I'll just read the general mission statement too, if you'll indulge me, Mr. Chair. It says to recommend and promote age-friendly initiatives in order for the Township of West Lincoln to become a more age-friendly community. I think that the general mission statement is just that. It's very general, but I think it hits the nail right on the head, and I see no reason why we can't go forward. So at the appropriate time, can we call the vote, Mr. Chair?
Okay.
I'd like to call the question, Mr. Chairman.
Yep. Okay, all those in favor? You've heard, pardon, you've heard the motion, recommendation. Sorry. Okay. We need a seconder. Okay, seconded by Mayor Joyner. Councillor Bilsma. To call the question.
No, I did call the question. I moved it.
So moved by Joanne, seconded by...
Okay, so we're backing up to the original one.
So we're talking to calling the
Moved by
question.
Councillor Jackson, yes, okay.
So
Moved by
all those in-
Councillor T.
All those in
Jackson.
favor of calling the question?
Okay. All those in favor of calling the question?
I'm calling the question.
Okay.
You want to call the question or talk to me?
Okay,
Well, put your hand.
passed.
Can I make a comment?
Yep, passed. Okay,
It's carried.
it's carried.
Okay, then you have to, because this motion to call the question was put forward, we have to vote on this motion. Having said that, if it's the intent of the committee to forward this to the administration committee next month, then you would vote in favor of the motion that's before you. However, if you vote against it, then Mayor Joyner could pour forward a motion to adopt these terms of reference now, so it would be appropriate to deal with the motion that's on the table, which has already been moved and seconded by Councillor Chichuk and Mayor Joyner. And that motion is that the draft terms of reference be presented to the next admin committee meeting. So that is on the floor and to be voted on without discussion now.
All those in favor? Carried.
So that would be referred.
Okay, so this motion now gets referred back to next month to the Fire and Finance Committee. Okay, that's it then. Okay, I'm coming to it. Yeah, I'm getting there now, just to get a little bit past A, B, C, D, yeah. Yeah, Brenda Pickvance, yeah. Okay, item A, 16-17, Brenda Pickvance, multi-use recreation site and roads. Please come forward. Oh, yeah,
Good evening.
we'll get into it.
Brenda Pickpants.
Yeah.
I sat there this
Mrs. Pickvance, could you please speak into the mic?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
I sat there this afternoon and I thought, how do you connect the dots on everything with what needs to be done with the roads, the Mears project? It's all interconnected and yet disconnected at the same time. So, okay, thanks. So what I'm going to do is just start and go and hope it all comes together. So, number one, roads. It's obvious I'm from the rural areas. There still remains 135 kilometers of unfinished roads out there. Think of me driving from Caister Center to Niagara Falls and back. That's one long piece of road. It's a huge cost, I realize that, but it has stagnated. I was here 7 years ago, and not much has happened on those unfinished rural roads. To give you an example of how ridiculous it is, I live on Concession 3. Probably about 9 or 10 years ago, it was tarred and chipped to the west, to the east. I live in the middle. That didn't get done because apparently there weren't enough homes. So when we go to visit friends, we drive around the block. We go up to the next tarred and chipped road and then cut back down again, because that saves a little bit of wear and tear and muck and dust on the vehicle. And that's exactly what we get. This is climate change at its worst. We have no cold winters, more muck. We have drier summers, more dust. I don't think we've had 1 month over this winter where we haven't had the muck conditions. Rumors I hear circulating is that it'll never be done. The roads will never get fixed because there's never enough money. If you look at the roads budget this year, talk about tweaking. That's the lowest I've ever seen it. So I have to ask myself, where did some of those funds disappear to? There's $357,000 allocated to road repairs. Usually it's up over $1 million. I think sometimes these long-range plans just get manipulated along the way. So we have a stagnant budget. We do pay taxes too out there. And when we look at taxes being raised in West Lincoln as a whole, you want to raise my taxes, then fix my road. Then we move over to the other big issue in the rural areas, the wind turbines. What these rural folks have gone through in the last few years, most of us can't even comprehend. It's been terrible. years of rip-ups, dust, noise, you name it. But one of the saddest things that happened was the destruction of 7,000 trees. We can't afford, with all the environmental issues out there today, to be ripping down trees. But apparently there was no choice. So one of the first things that needs to be done out of the community fund is to ensure that those trees get replanted. Now, I understand that Paul Robertson from Trees Unlimited, along with the Niagara Woodlot Association, have gotten some calls, and they have been in contact with the township to get some type of action plan up and running. It is believed that it'll be a planting that's done over several years to ensure as many of them live as they can, but you gotta remember, they were mature trees cut down, and what's gonna be replaced is tiny seedlings that will take generations to grow. So that is the first thing that needs to come out of the community fund, followed by any other cleanups that need to be done. I have a real problem with the community fund being allocated to a new project in town when there are a lot of things out there that still need to be fixed. It should be first and foremost to the residents that were affected the most by the wind turbine construction. So, to the 4 rural councillors that are here tonight, there's some work that needs to be done in these rural areas, and let's make sure that some of these funds get to the proper places. The next has been the Mears project, which seems to just be shadowed in confusion right now. Most of you have been reading the articles in the local papers, and the one thing that I find is how confused many of the residents are. A few of the main concerns seem to be around the tax increase, averaging out, compounding to 13.5% over 3 years. This is on top of everyone, for the most part, having higher taxes this year just through reassessments being done on their properties. I know my taxes went up substantially. That part we have no control over. We do have some control over the taxes as they are set within the municipality. Another point of confusion is the $14 million project that was not approved, and exactly what did that project have in it. Coming back with a $23.4 million project, and all we can really understand is that the library is going to be bigger now. So that's a $9 million difference. So what was originally rejected needs to be explained, what was in that, and why are we now looking at $9 million more? There's also confusion around the lack of support for the Mears project in general. This came about through surveys that were done, comments that were made, and many people did not support it for many reasons, number one being the cost factor. And yet, we're moving ahead with it. Is this truly representative of all of the residents of West Lincoln? We've gone ahead and hired campaign coaches to the tune of $200,000. Boy, you add a little bit to that, you can almost fix my road. So, campaign coaches to fundraise. If there are such a big percentage of people that don't want this project, where are the fundraising funds going to come from? You can't get blood out of a stone. If you have all these people that are concerned with the increase in property taxes, they just can't afford it for the most part, there's no fundraising dollars there. Unless there is a Jervensky or Joyce family lurking in the background that's going to come to the rescue, I don't know where are these dollars going to be raised from. I also wanted to touch base on Leisureplex. Over 100 acres of land that's been sitting over there since the mid-90s. This was supposed to, as far as I can recollect, be the future home of both sports and fairgrounds. But we ran into some bumps. We couldn't get sewers and water in. Big problem. We couldn't get the lands accepted into the urban boundary. Another problem. And from what I understand, there's some portion of it that has a road allowance or something connected to it.
Mrs. Pickvance, you have 1 minute left.
So we buried it. But would that have not been the best thing to do? Build on that land, everything you need, sell the existing land, make some money, and put it towards this project. I keep hearing that the need is for youth and seniors. Fine. We got a lot of good things happening. I was at Family Day at the arena. The kids were happy. They really didn't care what the building looked like. We have lots of meeting places for the seniors, and I think that's something we can work on it. And the presentation prior to mine was very timely in regards to that. And we talk youth and seniors. What are we doing for our youth and seniors in the rural areas? That's a whole other issue. And it all boils down, how are we going to finance this project? Frankly, there's not a big enough down payment going into it. You're looking at $9 million worth of interest. That's equal to your budget for 1 year just to fund this thing. It's huge. And what about staffing and maintenance costs? They haven't even come on the table yet. That's going to be huge as well. We also need business infrastructure done. We need roads fixed. There is just way too much money that needs to be spent and not enough coming in. To look at the pictures, it's lovely. The multi-use facility, it's lovely. But you know what? It's a gourmet cuisine on a burger joint stand.
Okay, that's enough. Thank you, Mrs. Pickvance. If you could leave a copy of your presentation with the clerk. Any questions or comments?
She said it well.
Seeing none?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, at this time, request to address any items on the agenda. If there are any members of the public present who wish to address any items on the Administration, Finance, Fire Committee agenda. Okay. Please come forward, sir. State your name and give the clerk a copy of your comments.
Bob Mignon. I'm 73, so I really enjoyed the presentation by those two guys. That's something we really need. I've lived here oh, sorry. Is it on? Oh. Yeah, I suppose it is. I've lived here for 12 years. I came and retired. So over the 12 years, I've noticed how the age group has gone up and up, and the kids are going less and less and less. That's why the school's closing. That's why a lot of it plays. Okay, that's why the school is closing, because there's not enough children around. There's a lot of us guys, the older people. Anyhow, the time that I've been here, it's gone from 11,000. What's the population now? 14 or something, around about that. I believe that there's only 400 people that actually play hockey in the town, or in the township, I should say. It's an awful low percentage for spending $24 million. When it comes to the other uses of MERS, incidentally, that sounds like something you catch in a hospital, that MERS. It's a different MERS. It's still hitting me as hard, though. So this MERS, although it seemed like a good idea a few years ago, I remember, $10 million, then that was A, was that B or C, and then it went to 34 million, and that went down to 23 million. I'd like to see what it's going to be when you really build this thing. Anyhow, the people, you're building this for old people, I assume, in the arena. But the schools are closing. There's great, have a look at the hall here, it's great. I'd love to walk around there every day. And then the Catholic school's closing. Our church has just put a new elevator in so that older people can use it. They can go there and use that. I'm sure we'd welcome it. But since I've been in the community, I'll get into the part that my wife doesn't like. Friends of mine who work for the Ministry of the Environment, when I moved up here, they said, "Why on earth are you going there? That's the PCB capital of Canada, actually." And so I look at some of the things we've done, some of the white elephants. It's already been mentioned, the leisure centre. I go past, there's not a soul there. I go past the latest white elephant up on Mud there. Mud. It's empty every day. I go past twice a day. It's empty. So I don't know how much that cost us to build that place. And now you want to spend all this money. And the problem is there's going to be less and less kids there. So you're going to build this massive rinks. When I was a kid and played hockey, the rinks were freezing cold. When it was warm, the ice melted, basically, and nobody played hockey. And the people that went there when it was cold were freezing, scarves on and everything else. But now you want heated upstairs, elevators, carpets. That's great. But we live in Smithville. The things like, I consider it PCB capital of the country. Noise pollution. We have probably one of the worst noise pollutions thanks to CP Rail. If the council would pay for the safety audits, maybe we could get some gates put on the roads and the CP would stop using the horn, because there's a couple of young guys. Thank you. There's a couple of young guys who don't like being up in the middle of the night, and they make sure I'm not up. I have to close my windows, otherwise I can't sleep. And that costs me money because I have to put the air conditioning on. God gave us this wonderful air, to cool the place off. I can't use it because of the noise. And I'm not joking, everybody here knows it. You must get complaints every single council meeting. And then we come to I know I'm in a rural area, but you come to the pollution of the smells we get, the air pollution. It's rancid sometimes. Now I was out today and they opened one up down the road. It didn't smell that bad, but there are some farmers that have these chicken coops, barns, that I'm not sure that they're following the law by cleaning them out properly. Some of them stink like hell. They do, and I think you should be looking at that. What's the other thing I got down here? Noise. Oh, the wind turbines. Wonderful, wonderful. My electrical rates are going up, and yet we've got all these things going around and making electricity, and I'm not getting any of it. I come up 30 Road, and all I can see is 2 windmills. I live in Van Woudenberg, and there's 2 windmills going around like that. People that visit my house say, they look like you're in your backyard. They're so big, they're actually way over by the Christian school. You know, that's miles away. And then I look to my left, and one of them come at night, lights flashing. Bum, 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 bum. We've got them. We can do nothing about them. We allowed that to happen, or previous councils did. Anyhow, let's get rid of it, and maybe the next guy can have some of my time. But you know, we've had Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. I've got a Plan F. Okay. Let's forget about the whole thing, the MERS.
Thank you, Mr. Higgins, for your presentation. Did you make sure the clerk gets a copy? Oh, Mr. Higgins. Could you make sure the clerk gets a copy of your presentation? Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to come forward and state your name, please?
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Council and ladies and gentlemen. Just like to take the opportunity first to thank the members of Council, including the Mayor. I met and spoke with each one of them in the past. That's very recently. Each got a letter from my wife and myself detailing the hardship that may be created by this complex and the proposed tax increases. It's timely that the gentleman that spoke earlier spoke on the topic of seniors. None of us who are in those shoes can afford what is proposed. I just like to use my own example further to the letter that you people got, which Mike Willscraft may publish coming up. We're going to be given consideration to that. Many years ago, I was diagnosed with severe arthritis. I was heading into a wheelchair. I was very fortunate that my wife had coverage for a particular drug. It's called Enbrel. I inject once a week. The cost of that drug is between $400 and $500. In a year's time, the coverage will end. The Ontario government refuses to give any form of coverage for that particular drug. So I'm going to be heading back to the wheelchair. I cannot afford the MERS project and my drugs. This is reality. And there are many more here in the audience and in West Lincoln who are in the same shoes. I have a 95-year-old mother-in-law on a farm. I worked the land when I first married my wife over 40 years ago, and we built a house there. I worked the land with my father-in-law. She's still on the farm. Her taxes have gone up. Hydro has gone up. And she can no longer afford to live there. There are many in her shoes. So I say to council, and I put this in the letter, that my wife and I are not for nor against this project. What we're saying is we can't afford it. West Lincoln cannot afford it. If you want to scale it back and reimagine this thing, propose it again, something that is affordable, I'm positive that everyone in this room will support. Until then, I'm telling you that from a personal standpoint, and this was for the purpose of the audience, that personally, after 40 years of paying taxes since 1975, 41 years, 2 years, we can no longer afford to live there if my medication is no longer covered. How long any one of you councillors pledge and swear you will remain in West Lincoln in the next 5 to 10 years, we'd like to hear that. But none of you can promise us that you will be here, yet you will make decisions. There's a lot of critical thinking involved, and I think to this point, this is my own personal standing, that the critical thinking is in short supply in this council. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zimmerman. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Okay. State your name, please.
It's Stefanos Kurtovis. Been a lifelong resident of West Lincoln. I've grown up here, gone to school here, played hockey here. My father had a hockey team here that he sponsored. The population definitely is not going to be able to sustain this MERS project, and I don't know what is going on here. During the last elections, it started out that soft costs were supposed to be 11 million, came out around 20 million, project disappeared. Originally, I heard it was about 60 people that were supporting it. Now it's back. It's been approved. And with the surveys, I think it was somewhere around 85% or something that were opposed to the project. But still, it's being imposed on the residents here. Everybody, including the last speaker and everyone else in this room, I'd assume it's safe to say that they cannot afford this project. Not only will they be able to afford it, will their children be able to afford it? And how many generations is it going to take to pay this debt down? Not only that, but we have also, what was it, 23 million? 9% was another 9 million in interest, plus staffing and everything. What's the real actual cost going to be over the years? Is it going to be 40 million? Is it going to be more? This is no way going to be able to be sustained by West Lincoln in any way. And that's just that project. So I don't know what's going on in West Lincoln. I don't know what's going on with Mayor and Council this time around. I'm baffled. This is something that seems to be driven through. Is there another reason why it's being driven through? I don't know the reasons for it. What I'd like to know is, and through you, the Chair to Councilor Bielsma, I read your article in the paper about getting answers. I seem to have a real big problem getting any answers out of council, mayor, or anyone else in the town of West Lincoln. And if I'll extend to you an invitation to work with me into finding a system that we can ensure that our representatives respond to us when posed with a question. Thank you.
Thank you. If you'd like to come forward, sir, state your name.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for allowing me to speak. My name is Raymond Atwood. A few people here probably know me, but not many. Really, actually, what I was going to say has been more or less said by the previous speakers. But what I would really like to say is that this council seems to have gone to the Donald Trump school of alternate facts, because we don't seem to get any real answers on anything. Why they want to saddle us with a $30 to $40 million millstone around the township's neck for at least the next 30 years, when I would imagine that the population increase of this township would be lucky if it only increased by about 1/3 of what the present population is. So how can you sustain any of that? It's just impossible. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else? Please come forward and state your name.
Trying to sit on my hands, but my name is Tony Mills, and I've been before this council for a number of times. Actually, this project's been going on since 2010. I've lived here for 30 years, and I've been supportive of this project since the beginning. I've spoken here on behalf of seniors, on behalf of people who have disabilities, because I also have arthritis. And I just have a few questions of the people who have been up here. Where have you been? You say you've been here for 40 years and 30 years and 20 years. I haven't seen you people speaking here at this council meeting for all the years that I've been here. And so I'd like to know, where have you been? Why now? Where were you the last meeting when the budget was approved here? There was not one person spoke against MERS, not one. Okay, which was quite different from earlier times. Okay, and at the time when the 14 million project was presented, it was turned down by two of the councillors here. And at first I was very upset by that, but then I realized that their intent was to survey the community, find out exactly what they wanted. And so they came back with results from our community. And I'm really concerned about the fact that you said that 85% of their community opposed this. I don't think I don't know where that number came from. I never heard that of any of the meetings I've attended on this project over the years. So I just have I'd just like to say that I would like to commend the council, because at a time when some of you did not approve, okay, you gave an alternate plan. You did think about things. You did proceed in a different way. Maybe not the way I wanted it to go, but you did go that way. I'm very interested in the fact that the group spoke ahead of us about the age, because as everyone who's been here at meetings when I've been here, I'm pretty educated about seniors and isolation of seniors and the federal and provincial projects about seniors, and which is something I advise you to do if you're all, illiterate, or if you're all literate on the computer. You can educate yourself on all of these things that are available. And as far as fundraising goes, there are opportunities from the federal government and the provincial government, and even organizations like I just read, the Retired Teachers of Ontario gave $50,000 to the Aging Advisory Council in Hamilton in 2016. So there are other ways of raising money other than having a cookie sale, okay? So I'd just like to commend the council for taking a step back a year ago, we'll say, and having another look at it, and finally coming together. Now, I realize that not everybody on the council voted for this, and that concerns me, that instead of accepting the majority rule in a democratic society, we are going to take our own personal beliefs and try and change everything around at this point in time. I also have a question for whoever said that there are other meeting places for seniors. I've only found one called Tim Hortons, okay? I don't see where there's other places for seniors to go. I practice Tai Chi at the arena, and I'd like to thank the Recreation Department for making a few really needed improvements in that upper room in in the last couple of weeks. They've asked me for some input. I gave them input, and they've been very good at fixing the things that were health and safety issues. And so I'd like to thank that group for that as well, openly. So I take offense to anybody who's dismissing this council as not thinking and not thinking well and not looking at this thing. This is 7 years this has been going on, and I really take offense on their behalf to them being called people who don't think, because they have given a lot of thought to this. So maybe I'm the only one here tonight, but thank you very much. I am looking forward to this community center, not just for seniors, but for the community where the people in this community can meet together, have a meeting place, help each other, volunteer at the library, help with the kids' programs there. Seniors can do that, okay? And in town, where we can get to it in case we lose our license when we're 80. So I just would like to thank you for your time. I don't have anything written, Councilman Bell, but it's all up here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Mills. Is there anyone else who would like to address anything on the agenda? Come forward, sir. State your name.
My name is Paul Weeb. Mr. Chair, Mr. Mayor, as you've seen over the last couple of weeks, there's been a ruse in town regarding this multi-use recreational site. And its negative effects to the community of West Lincoln. Not too long ago, when I read our local paper, I seen an article stating that the Mears project had been turned down by council because of issues due to costs. I don't know about you, but $14 million is a lot of money for such a small township. I was relieved that the project was rejected, and it would have raised our taxes once again. Families and citizens could use a little relief from the continuous bombardment of taxes being thrown at us from every aspect of life. Prices have been skyrocketing in every essential service. Prices at the grocery stores, price of vehicles, auto insurance, the price of gas, and the cost of post-secondary education. All areas of life have been increasing. Town Council had made the right decision by turning this project down. Town Council understood these everyday issues and struggles that the members of the community face, and stopped having to pay more for Mears project taxes. Late January, I once read again in our local newspaper that not only did this project get pushed through, but at an increase of millions of dollars over the first plan that was turned down. So I did a little investigating myself, read the Mears project report from our township website. We have heard all the members from other town members who have spoke here this evening, who gave accurate costs of the project. What I hear from local and provincial and federal governments is more. But how much is too much? How hard must we work just to live and not be burdened by forced debt? How long will we be told that our government is doing things to better us as a person, a town, a city, a province, and a country at the cost of our own paychecks? We can no longer afford frivolities in our lives due to excessive taxation by our government. We all want these new projects and buildings because we all have a need to want, to be the best, and have the most. Because of this mindset, we have no more to give. Now you're hurting your friends, you're hurting your family, and now you're hurting your community. We must not let our wants take over our lives and place more financial burden on our community. If you need money to build new things that are not necessary, then you must create gains in ways that benefit the township. We must look at how this will affect every aspect of our lives. I disagree with the outrageous spending. It is a gross misconduct of our money. This facility will be a burden on this community for years to come. Why wouldn't we help out our less fortunate, smaller communities? We're funneling all of our money into one venture, almost like starting a race and putting the finish at the beginning and working our way backwards, trying to catch up to an increase of West Lincoln's population, businesses, service that haven't even happened yet. Why are we placing our town in debt? This is not acceptable. I will do everything in my power to push us in the right direction and stop the backwards thinking of our elected officials. A large portion of our community are on fixed incomes. A lot of our neighbors are working for minimum wage. We have roads that need to be repaired, infrastructure that if the council wants to grow will be burdened by taxation and trying to match the growth of the township. Other cities have grown in such a manner that people can no longer afford to live in them due to overwhelming housing costs and taxation. If we're expected to grow, and as reports have said, then we need to look into other areas that will bring growth not only in the housing market, but in the job market and transportation. We must first get people moving around these towns, creating overall accessibility. If we want to be as big as Grimsby or Burlington, we have to be connected to other townships. We need to connect them not only with communications, but with transportation. Do you not think that if we invest in things that will generate growth, accessibility, and profit, that we would be in a better position in the near future to support such projects like the mirrors? Mr. Mayor and councillors, if you want to grow and want to do it in a way that will be beneficial to the community, then I suggest that you take a long, hard look at what you're doing right now. This project only benefits a few that are not understanding of the costs and repercussions of this project. I think that our council has a fixed-minded mentality and will put us citizens in debt if they don't get what they want. If this is not taken care of right now, then our next elected officials will be on permanent cleanup duty from this administration. If we want to grow as a community, we must take responsibility for our actions and admit that this is too much, too soon. We do, however, need to address our aging arena. Wainfleet has a beautiful arena, and it was just rebuilt last year.
1 minute left, please.
Pardon?
You have 1 minute left.
Oh, thank you. I think we should follow in their footsteps and repurpose our aging arena. With all the facts, in my opinion, I have with me a petition to halt the Mears project that has been signed by countless members of our community that I would like to submit to council. It's at the back of the room. I believe that with a proper plan, we can build this town and build it in a way that will not only create jobs, but create the community that we were trying to establish. If you need consultation and ideas that will generate money for the community, I suggest give me a call so we can work together to make this community a place to be proud of.
Susan Sturgeon? Could you bring that up to the clerk, please? Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address anything on the agenda? Please come forward and state your name.
My name is Dave Willis. I actually came prepared to make the presentation to the next meeting of Recreation and Public Works, but it seems that the gallery, council and gallery, I'm really confused and concerned about this multi-use recreation center. Myself and at least one member of council is also confused. I'm referring to the multi-purpose recreational facility survey, a public survey, the results being adopted at the Public Works meeting way back on October 16th, 2015. Appendix E, question 2, showed that a whopping 60.77% indicated they would not be willing to pay higher taxes to support the new facility, or a new facility, with only 5.56% indicating they would be willing to pay higher taxes. Yet here we are being presented with a compound tax increase of 13.6% over 3 years on our taxes, not just for the MERS. This is not counting any further increases for other assessments. I'm confused by the loss of support from the council members for Councillor Bylsma and his concerns. His treatment by his fellow council is disrespectful. I'm confused by council's decision to turn down a proposed $14 million project last year. If you'll recall, I made several presentations then. Now this year, $23.6 million complex proposed. I'm further confused by the question of needs versus wants. This council has it all wrong. I'm further confused by the addition to the Plan B proposal from last October 17th, 2016, design report, and adopted at Public Works Recreation Committee meeting the same time, October 17th last year, and then adopted by Council October 24th, 16th. These additions were made without Council's approval. These additions were very close to the Plan A, which was rejected at the same October 24th Public Works meeting. Who made those changes without Council's approval? I'm confused by the fact that 2 existing baseball diamonds will be closed at the fairgrounds, forcing the slow pitch out of the downtown area. Is this not robbing Peter to pay Paul? That is one recreation activity at the expense of another. I'm confused by the fact that a 30-year debenture is to be taken out for this MERS. This 30-year debt will be over and above the maintenance and replacement costs incurred for the complex during that 30-year period. I'm perplexed as there has been no mention of how many additional staff have to be hired for the MERS, splash pad, etc., etc., etc. This extra staffing, of course, impacts on our already heavy tax burden. My great-grandchildren will still be paying for this MERS project during their lifetime, whether they are using the MERS or not. Help! I'm so confused. Is the tail wagging the dog? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to any items on the agenda? Seeing no one, we'll move on. Next up, Fire Department update. Item A, 17-17, Fire Chief Dennis Fisher. Fire Department monthly update. Mr. Fisher.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Over the course of January,
Hold it, guys. Sorry, Dennis. If you guys want to stay, the MERS is coming up in the next agenda on the recreation. This is the fire and finance, not the MERS. Okay, it's okay, they can go. They're missing all the information, but that's up to them. Okay, sorry, Dennis. Please, go ahead.
So Station 1 had 16 calls, Station 2 had 4, and Pelham down at the east end had 4 as well. A couple of things, we had a couple of firefighters retire, they're moving out of town. We hosted a recruitment open house on February the 9th. We had 23 people attended, so we had a good turnout that way. To fill for vacancies, we will be doing interviews over the next 2 weeks. From the promotional standpoint, we had to fill Captain Bob Dennison's position. With that, posting has closed. We had 2 applicants apply. We'll be doing interviews for that next week as well to fill his position. From Fire Prevention Way, Fire Prevention hosted a grade 1 class from St. Martin School. The Deputy Chief McIntyre has inspected the Village Square Mall, and Deputy Chief McIntyre has successfully completed his Fire Inspector 2. From apparatus standpoint, the aerial waterway and the cabling was done. It's now back in service. A couple other notes. We're completing the fire underwriter survey as of the end of this month. And we're in the draft stages of producing a PTSD prevention program for the members of the department. And lastly, Station 2 renters are growing well. Moving forward with that. And one last thing, of course, you all are aware of the big fire we had on Saturday over on Chain Street. Guys did a fabulous job, not only fighting the house that was on fire, having to deal with exposures from the north side and the south side. So commend the guys. They did a superb job for saving the house on both sides. And the fire marshal was in on Sunday. I spent most of the day with him looking through debris. He did come up with a couple of possibilities. Nothing is written in stone yet, so I really can't comment any further until I get his report back. But it does look like it could have been prevented. I will say that. So, $800,000 fire that could possibly be prevented. But I will update council when I get his full report back. And that's all I have.
Thank you for your presentation. Any members of council, any questions, comments? Councilor Rayner?
Through you to the fire chief, just out of curiosity, how the Channel 11 showed the picture that it was a roaring fire. Oh, I'm sorry. Through to the chief, Channel 11 showed the picture of the fire, and it was quite a large fire. I'm curious, living out in the country, that happens quite often, the reason being that nobody's close by. How does a fire get that big in a subdivision? I'm just curious. Usually there's always somebody around. There's neighbors 2 doors, 3 doors, 6 doors. How does a fire get that big in a subdivision?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Councilor Rayner. A couple of things. Being a fire in town, how far it gets going before people notice. There was occupants at the house at the time. There was occupants in the house on either side. From the time we got the call to the time our first truck was on scene was just under 5 minutes. But you have to take into consideration with building construction these days, it's very lightweight. It burns very hot, very quickly. Having said that, it burnt that roof off in about 8 minutes. And it's all based on lightweight construction. Houses aren't built today like they were 25 years ago.
Okay. Anyone else? Questions, comments? No? Okay. Thank you, Chief Fisher. And moving to the next agenda that was moved up is item 9, staff reports. Item 820-17, Fire Chief Dennis Fisher. Recommendation report WLFD-05-17 for safety messaging. Recommendation that the report WLFD 05-17 dated February 21st, 2017 regarding fire safety messaging be received, and that the fire chief be and is hereby directed to initiate the addition of such messaging at all township emails as a footer and on the township website, and use of the signboard and or the fire department hall and any other methods of deemed appropriate by staff. I need a mover. Councilor Chichak, seconder. Councilor Cadan. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Approved. Thank you. Okay, number 7. Okay, 7 consent agenda items. Note, all items listed below are considered to be routine and non-controversial and will be approved by one resolution. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless council members request it, in which cases the item will be removed from the consent resolution and considered immediately following the adoption of the remaining consent agenda items. Item A18-17, 1, Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee, January 12th, 2017 minutes. 2, RF 1-T-03-17-2016 Statement of Remuneration Expenses for Council Members and Persons Serving on any bodies. The recommendation that the Administration Finance Fire Committee hereby approve the following consent agenda items. 1, Item 1 be hereby accepted, and 2, Item 2 be hereby received for information and will, the exception of items. Is there any items to be pulled? Seeing none. Okay, I need a mover and a seconder. Councilor Rayner and Councilor Chichak. All those in favor? Carried. Communications. Item A17-17, Region of Niagara, change of composition of regional council, double direct, refer to the memo from the clerk regarding this matter. Recommendation that the council of this township of West Lincoln consists of the passage of the bylaw of the regional municipality of Niagara, being the bylaw to change the composition of the regional council. Any questions, comments?
We have
Moving to, okay. Need a mover and a seconder? Sorry. Councilor Chichak, Councilor Trombetta. Any questions, comments? Councilor Chichak?
I read this report and thought it very interesting that there was an ask to change the way people are elected to regional council in St. Catharines. And that was that we go to double direct. So you're elected as a local councillor and then you become a regional councillor. And I thought, well, that's their decision, what they want to do. It doesn't matter to me. And then I saw the memo from the clerk that was a letter from their clerk that said when they dealt with the item, they turned it down. So I was hoping that maybe the mayor would be able to give us some inspiring message back, because here's my thing. Their way they elect their politicians has no matter on, in this particular case, has no consequence to us. And further on this agenda, we would like to have more representation, because we only have the position, one position, and it's always the mayor that goes. And well, I'm not making any comment about the mayor being insufficient on there, but there's only one guy to go around to all the committees. So it would be great if West Lincoln could have additional representation, and we are getting to the stage where we don't have representation by population fairly. It's the old way, and it's a very large and cumbersome council. So I thought, well, I'm not really sure why this is here, other than at one point they wanted it to be double direct and they wanted all of the other municipalities to vote for it. And I don't want to vote against it because it has no consequence to us. And down further, if they see that we voted against it, are they going to say, okay, so fair is fair? We're going to vote against you getting another representative. So I was hoping, Mr. Chair, that maybe the mayor could give us just a little bit, or the clerk, about what the heck's going on at Regional Council.
Mayor Jordan, do you want to address that?
Well, thank you for that question. And it's not what the heck is going on at Regional Council, it's what the heck is going on at St. Catharines City Council. So earlier, about 16 months ago, they had the vote, and it was to actually the initial vote to say, do we want to go down this road? Do we want to have double duty direct? And as the chair and Councillor Chichak has said, it would take the representatives from 18 to 12. So right now, they have 12 city and 6 regional. Going from 18 to 12, they would have 6 city and 6 double duty, so they would be regional and city. So they reduced the amount of councillors in St. Catharines by 6. And about 16 months ago, they had a vote, and it wasn't a close vote. It was to say yes, let's go forward. So in the process, what you have to do is you first have to see if the region will accept that. And after some controversy and a few delays and going back and forth, and some people coming out at the last minute saying that, you know, there wasn't enough consultation and I didn't know enough about it and it wasn't advertised and all the usuals, comments that are made. People just basically put their hands up, and so the mayor of St. Catharines said, yes, we'll go back and we'll do some more PICs. They did that. It came to regional council. It passed. It passed almost with a flying majority. So they're going along and thinking that, so based on the initial vote they had that wasn't close, now it was coming down to the crunch time, and so they had a council meeting about a month ago, and lo and behold, that vote was not close anymore. In actual fact, it lost. It lost by about 8-7. And the unfortunate part about it is the person who actually, the councillor who actually caused the vote to lose, did not say one thing. Did not say anything 16 months ago, did not say anything 8 months ago, did not come to regional council, did not come to any of the PICs that the city of St. Catharines had to deal with double duty direct, said nothing, did nothing, was null and void. So it comes to the vote and it loses 8-7. So there's a whole lot of time spent for nothing. I actually think that double duty direct was good. I know that I sit beside Councillor Timms, who has been a regional councillor for some 20-25 years, and this has been his baby for the whole time. He truly believes this, and he truly believes in double duty direct council, because this is not something new. St. Catharines is not reinventing the wheel here. This happens in Haldimand County, this happens in Peel County, this happens in the York region, this happens all across Ontario, double duty direct. So he was not thinking outside the box. He was not creating a new template. He was simply doing what the rest of Ontario does. And St. Catharines and Mayor Sensei thought that they would absolutely be leaders in this double duty direct. But it's for naught. But to answer Councillor Chichak's question, this is now put on our agenda because it was already on our agenda, and hopefully it was going to go forward. It didn't. But I truly believe that we, as a council of West Lincoln, should vote for this. We should send the message to St. Catharines City Council saying, you did the right thing, you had a rogue councillor, maybe two, and who didn't understand the process, and we're with you with double duty direct, because we do, and we are, looking for efficiencies all across Niagara. Thank you.
Councillor Chichak for a second time.
The comment that I wanted to make is that the mayor touched on it, and that is that most other regions do elect double duty direct or elect a regional councillor that sits on local council. And it's kind of an anomaly in Niagara, where if you elect a regional councillor, they don't come to your local council. So it always confuses me as to how someone who's going to sit on regional council can possibly represent the needs, wants, desires of a local municipality when they have no right to come to a local council meeting. So the idea of a double direct makes good sense in my mind. And it also says that, yes, you go down from 18 to 6, you get a little bit of an efficiency in there, and you still get representation by population. So I couldn't understand why they had turned it down. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Mayor. And I would be supportive of either voting tonight in favor of it and giving them a chance to go back, or saying nothing and sending it back to Niagara, to St. Catharines, and saying that they should reconsider this before we or any other municipality has any vote on it. So just one way or another saying, guys, if you spent all this time, why don't you get it right? Thank you.
Councillor Bilsma.
Yeah, so I'd like to echo that last comment there, that perhaps we should just, we can table this, or we can just, I don't want to say yes or no. Right now I'm kind of leaning no because it becomes irrelevant. So, but in favor of saying nothing would be my best option just on this item.
Mayor joining for a second time.
So obviously, I'll say I will vote in favor of actually putting this forward to say, yes, we are in favor of St. Catharines to do this. I forgot one thing, though. I forgot that in order to actually even get this on the table, you had to get the blessing of the Minister of Municipal Housing and Affairs. Like that in itself was a hurdle, folks. To actually get the minister to come out and say, yes, St. Catharines, I give you my blessing, go ahead and do it. I don't think anybody understands how much work the mayor had to do and the CAO and staff had to do in order to get it to that point. And to have someone come out and not say a word for 16 months and then all of a sudden affect the vote was not very fair to the mayor or the council. Thank you. So I will be in favor of saying yes, that they should go ahead with this.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. You've heard the recommendations. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, we've done staff reports. Okay, second staff report B, amendment to budget. Item A21-17, Treasury Director of Finance, Donna DeFlippis. Recommendation report number RFD-T-02-17-2017, water and wastewater rates, and amendment to 2017 water and wastewater budgets include Appendix A, B, C, 1, D2, and E. Recommendation, amendment to budget. 1, that the report RFD-T-02-17 regarding 2017 water and wastewater rates and amendment to 2017 water and wastewater budgets to be received, and 2, that the 2017 water wastewater budget be amended as outlined in Appendix A and Appendix B to the report, and 3, that the bylaw as attached in Appendix C to this report be forwarded to the February 27, 2017 council meeting for final approval. I need a mover and a seconder. Councilor Trevetta, Mayor Joyner. Any questions or comments? Sorry, Councilor Chichak.
I believe that these rates are in keeping with the kind of master plan or overview we had of a longer-term strategy for water and wastewater that we conducted last year. And there's certainly a number of public information meetings, but tonight, I guess, our audience gets the double pleasure of, well, a triple pleasure. They're talking about many things, but I believe that just let me check here. I can't find it. Maybe through you, Mr. Chairman, if we could have the treasurer tell us what the increase to water and wastewater rates are, because I can't find it.
Councilor, Treasurer Donna, for the press, please.
Through you, Chairman Bell, to Councillor Chichok, we are recommending a 5% increase to water and wastewater rates. The effective date would be July 1st, 2017. So the September water bills that would be mailed out would be reflective of this new rate. You are correct. Last year, we completed a water and wastewater financial plan. It was conducted by DFA Infrastructure, and they recommended a 5% increase over several years to get our water and wastewater reserves at a level that's necessary in order to accomplish all the capital projects that are in the 10-year capital plan, keeping in mind that Council's wish was to avoid borrowing at any cost. So with this budget, we are recommending a 5% increase. If you look at, I believe it is Appendix C, which is the bylaw, it'll show you the new rates. We've also attached the last appendix, shows you comparative rates between our township and some of the surrounding townships.
So thank you for that, Mr. Philippus. Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had a number of open houses last year, and this is an increase on both the fixed and consumptive, or in other words, on your consumption. And we had public open houses where people were allowed to come in, ask questions, and I know you and I sat into a couple of them, Councillor Bell, where people asked questions and actually left quite relieved. And we had three options to put this forward. We could put it through very aggressively or more carefully over a number of years. So these water rates are for the people most affected are people inside the town of Smithville. People who do buy water and have it tanked to their house or have wells are not going to be affected by this, but just for the record, and since we have such an audience, I thought we'd just give a little bit of an understanding of what went on. But I did want to say that this is, again, in keeping with a long-term plan that we passed last year. So thank you, Mr. Chair. I did it mostly for the people who are here so they'd understand.
No problem. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, you've heard the recommendation.
No.
No, sir.
Did I hear correctly? It's 5%?
Okay. You've heard the recommendations. All those in favor? Carried. C, amendment to budget item 8, 2217. Treasury Director, Finance, Donna. Okay, Donna. Recommendation report RFD-T-04-17-2017, corporate sponsorships, cemetery hall board grants, amendment to budget. Recommendation, amendment to budget. 1, that report RFD-T-04-17 regarding 2017 corporate sponsorships and cemetery and hall boards grants, amendment to budget, dated February 21st, 2017, be received, and that the corporate sponsorships and the cemetery and the hall budget grants for 2017 as recommended in this report be approved, and that a 2017 budget amendment be approved to transfer $2,182 from the corporate promotions budget line to the corporate sponsorship budget line. I need a mover and a seconder. Mayor Joyner, a seconder. Councillor Cadan. Any questions or comments? Councillor Chichok?
I do have a question, and that is that a number of years ago, the cemetery budgets were substantially higher, and I do know that my colleagues to the left of me have told me on a number of occasions that they are blessed with a number of cemeteries that are in the western part of the township. But the amount of money spent on the cemeteries was to get some standards and some immediate repairs done. Yet it seems that, look, it's not a lot of money, but I just wanted to know why it was still that's double what it is in the other areas. Have we done an evaluation of what it's going to cost us? We're inheriting 2 more cemeteries a little later on this agenda or in the next one.
So next one.
I think the next one. So I just wanted to know, because I'm sure those will be increasing as more and more of the small churches rethink where they want to, whether their membership wants to continue where they are. So my question is there a long-term plan with each of these cemetery boards? And is it necessary to have twice as much still being spent in the west side? And that's not a shot at the west end of the township. It's just, I was wondering if we'd finished the plan to upgrade those cemeteries.
I would like to answer.
Through you, Chairman Bell, to Councillor Chichak. Perhaps I just want to clarify the cemetery operations in our township. We have, within our own operating budget, a cemetery budget for the cemeteries that we actually maintain. These grants are for the cemeteries that are maintained by other boards, and we provide grants to them. And as you can see, the amount was determined in 2009 by the municipal board, the municipal cemetery board at that time. So you are correct that we are inheriting new cemeteries, but those are taken care of in our operating budget.
Does that help you?
That answers that part. Yes, thank you very much. I have one other question. I think this is the wrong place because this is corporate sponsorships,
Yes.
and that is, I'm not really sure, but I understand that there is money also in the recreation. There's recreation budget, department budget has money for special events, like for instance, putting a float in the Santa Claus parade isn't here. It's in the recreation budget.
Should be, I believe, done.
Through you, Chairman Bell, to Councillor Chichak. So this grant program is very specific. There's a policy that guides it. Community groups apply for grants, and we try to outline what they're requesting the grant for. You are correct. Within the Recreation Department, we provide a float in the Santa Claus Parade, in the Christmas in the Village Parade. However, that is not reflective of these sponsorships at all.
Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Phillips, and through you, Mr. Chair. It wasn't actually the float in the Santa Claus Parade. It was having a tent at Poultry Fest that I was going to be talking to. But I'll move that to further on because I understand the township has yet to register for presence there. So we'll talk about that in the next meeting. Thank you.
Mayor Joyner.
Chair, I'll be very quick, actually. My bad, I should have declared conflict of interest in the corporate sponsorship page of $18,682, where we asked for $2,182. $150 is going to Kristen French Child Advocacy Center in St. Catharines, which I am a board of director, so I need to declare conflict of interest on this report. Thank you.
Councilor Bilsma.
Yeah, so I'm a little confused. So when I read through this report, basically the amendment is largely in due to one event, which is fireworks at Poultry Fest. And it, previous councillor, my understanding is the bulk of that $2,000 is for that increase for that event. Is that my understanding? That's what the amendment.
Could you explain that to Councilor Bilsma?
Through you, Chairman Bell, to Councillor Bilsma. Yes, the budget amendment we're requesting relates to the corporate sponsorship section of this report. It does not relate to cemetery or hall boards.
Okay, yeah.
With the Poultry Fest application that we received, they are requesting $8,000 through this program,
Which is usually.
which in the past they've requested $5,000 through this program. Also historically, the township has contributed towards their fireworks program. That previously was budgeted through the recreational department. However, in 2017, given that it was Canada's 150th birthday, funds were allocated towards Canada Day, and as Councillor Chichak has stated, there is a report under Public Works regarding Canada Day. So in order to maintain our relationship with Poultry Fest and to help fund the fireworks, we are recommending an $8,000 sponsorship to them. We do need a budget amendment to do that. However, the budget amendment would be between another expenditure line, so there would be no impact on reserves or no impact on the tax base.
I appreciate the explanation. I was getting confused. It was just that one item, so now I'm clear.
Any other questions, comments, Mayor Joyner?
Also, I need to declare conflict of interest on Evans Ride, as I'm the honorary chair for that too as well. Thank you.
Okay, you've heard the recommendations. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, D, amendment to budget. Item A23-17, Treasurer and Director of Finance, Donna DeFilippis. Recommendation report number RFD-T-05-16, December 31st, 2016 budget status report. Amendment to budget includes Appendix A, B, C. Recommendation amendment to budget number 1, the report RFD-T-05-17 regarding the December 31st, 2016 budget status report amendment to budget excuse me, be received for information, and 2, that the budget amendment be approved for transfer of $70,000 to the Information Technology Reserve, $15,000 to the Bridge Reserve, and $11,000 to the Facilities Reserve, and 3, that any unspent 2016 operating funds in the roads construction budget be transferred into the Capital Reserve. I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Chichak, Councillor Cadan. Any questions, comments? Councillor Rayner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to Ms. DeFilippis. Number 2, budget to approve a transfer of $70,700 to the Information Technology Reserve. Didn't we 2 or 3 months ago have a huge number that went into the IT department of close to $200,000? Is that not correct?
Through you, Chairman Bell, to Councillor Rayner. A few months ago, Council approved the purchase and implementation of a new financial software system. I believe that was what you're referring to. It was a transfer from the Information Technology Reserve to fund that project. What we're recommending in this report is within the information technology budget, there's 2 large projects that were not completed in 2016, and we're requesting that the funds be transferred into 2017, along with the remaining capital related to information technology that was not completed. We budget each year for certain information technology upgrades. They may not happen in the current year, but it's important to keep those funds within that umbrella of spending because our needs for information technology are growing at a fast rate. When things break down, it's expensive, and our current reserve is not large enough, and we need to build it up, and that is why we were recommending it. So it is information technology funds from the 2016 budget that we're recommending go into an information technology reserve.
Through you, Mr. Chair, back to Mr. DeFilippis. What was that number that Council approved last fall? It was close to $200,000. Do you have that exact number?
Through you, Chairman Bell, to Councillor Rayner, I apologize, I don't have it right in front of me. I know Council originally budgeted $150,000 for that project. We did have to ask for a budget amendment. I can look that number up for you. I don't have it right in front of me.
Okay, all right. To you, Mr. Chair, through you to the Director of Public Works, Mr. Julian. We had discussions last week with regards to township roads and bridges and stuff. And you brought to my attention that there is a serious need to address a lot of the bridges in this township. Is that not correct, sir?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to the councillor, I did identify that we have a 10-year capital plan with some bridges in need.
Indeed, okay. Mr. Chair, at this point, I'm concerned with regards to, there's a spin-off here. We've got Information Technology Reserve, which needs money, although they have received probably $200,000 in the last couple of months. And we have a bridge reserve that's only $15,000, but we have very serious issues that are a very serious safety concern, which does not exist with information technology. If it goes down, nobody gets hurt. If a bridge collapses, somebody could get killed. So my concern, I would like to put an amendment that those numbers be reversed and the $70,700 go towards the bridge reserve, which there are a lot of bridges need done, and there's a lot of shortage of money with regards to get these bridges addressed, and put the $15,000 into the information technology, considering the fact that there was a huge amount of money went into that area just a couple months ago, and it is not a safety concern. I think safety, especially today, much more than any other time in my generation, is #1 priority with just about any company or any place you work. And bridges, the security and the safety of our bridges in this township is of a huge concern.
Is that, Kevin? So you gotta deal with it. Yeah, we need the first issue, yeah. So we need a seconder for the amendment. Councillor Trombetta? Okay, any questions regards to the amendment? Councillor Bilsma, Councillor Chichak?
Not to make too light of a point of it, but that is, I think fails to understand what our Director of Finance is putting forward. So I'm going to be opposed to this amendment. When you're doing books, you don't just, you know, from a business perspective or from a municipality, you don't take these numbers just kind of willy-nilly and throw them all around and toss them all around. And I understand the concept, the overall concept of what Councillor Rayner's trying to achieve, and I share his great urgency and desire to see that the roads and the bridges of this community are up to snuff, and the safety involved. But this is not what's the place, or this is not what's happening here. So I'm just going to say I'm going to basically defer to the Director of Finance, and I understand it, how do you say, implicitly what she's trying to accomplish, and it's not in a conflict with my overall desire to see roads and bridges improved.
Councillor Chichak and then Jason.
I don't want it to be said that I just take what it is that staff tell us, and that's the gospel. But I really would like to understand. I think Ms. DeFilippis has explained to us what's been happening in finances, and what I want to know is, I have one question to direct through to staff, and that is, would we be putting any of our infrastructure, road infrastructure, at risk if we continued with the motion as proposed by our staff?
You or Brent? I guess that would be both of you.
Sure.
Through you, Chairman Bell, to Councillor Chichak. Perhaps I just need to clarify this report.
Yeah.
At this point, we're projecting a $360,000 surplus. However, I don't call it an official surplus until the audit is complete. However, I am giving council heads up to what we think the surplus is going to be. At the same time, we look at each expenditure line to see what's going over budget, what's under budget. Because there's unspent money in the bridge budget and unspent money in the facilities budget, I'm recommending that those unspent funds go directly into reserves. It is the same idea regarding infrastructure, information technology. Unspent funds go into those reserves. The total of those transfers, plus the $100,000 that we've already accounted for in the 2017 budget, is less than the $360,000 that we're projecting. After the audit, when we do our official surplus report, council will have an opportunity to discuss what they would like to do. We may recommend what to do with those remaining funds. So this is just a preliminary report with some preliminary recommendations.
Okay. And Mr. Julian, do you want to answer the second part of the question for Councilor Chichak?
Through your Councilor Bell to Councilor Chichak, in the 10-year plan, there are timelines set out for those bridges, and that's the timeline that we put forward for for those projects. Right now, there is nothing imminent that's going to fall down.
So, Mr. Chairman, basically what we're hearing is if we had an emergency, we'd find money somewhere to fix it. Prudent, and the preliminary numbers are being put to us to understand. And when the audit is over, we'll deal with the entirety of Ms. DeFilippis' prudent spending and iron fist on cash going out the door. Okay, thank you.
So, Councilor Rayner?
Thank you. Through you to Mr. Julian. Ms. DeFilippis just mentioned that there were unspent bridge dollars in 2016, and yet we have a number of bridges in deteriorating condition. Why wasn't all the money spent in 2016 on bridges when indeed we recognized why wasn't the money spent on the bridges in 2016 when we know that there's a number of them in deteriorating condition? And I did not impose that there was something serious at this moment. I'm just saying there was a discussion with regards to there's a number of bridges in repair, and we do not have enough money to repair all the bridges. And if the bridges are repaired in the order, do we have the dollars to repair those bridges? So there's a number of questions.
Ms. Flipper, Brent Julian?
Through you, Chair Bell to Councilor Rayner, I'll attempt to answer some of that question. The monies that were left over were for bridge studies. They were not monies that were allocated for bridge construction or bridge repairs.
You okay with that? Okay.
But again, are there sufficient funds through you to Mr. Julian? Are there sufficient funds in the budget available to tackle these bridges in the order to which you said they need repair?
No.
Through you, Chair Bell to Councilor Rayner, pending approvals of future capital budgets. They're in the 10-year capital budget. That's probably the best way I could answer that.
Through you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Julian, some of those bridge projects, they're also contingent upon government grants, are they not?
Through you, Mr. Chair Bell to Councilor Rayner, yes, we did apply for one particular bridge for OSIF funding. I have not heard that back as of yet, but that's for the current year.
And that's for coming up, that's for coming up in 2017. This year, there is pending a potential grant for a bridge construction.
Again, through you, Mr. Chair, to Councilor Rayner, we have applied for one that is for a particular bridge. I can't remember the bridge number, but it's one of the ones that joins us with Wainfleet for a 2017 capital project.
Mr. Chair, it's not Bridge 34.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to the Councilor, no, it's not Bridge 34. It's in the southeast.
Then my last question is to Mr. Julian. This $70,000 then that was going to IT instead of the $15,000 that's right now going to bridge, are you satisfied with only $15,000 going into the reserve for the bridge?
That's unfair. He's a public works
Well,
director.
I'm just saying,
Elect him.
we need the money to get the bridges done, and, I guess we can move the money around later, but to me...
I guess what it is now, Councilor Rayner, is that they're putting the money to park it for the time being until we know what we're going to do with it exactly. Then it's going to come back to council, and then it will be distributed in the proper places. Would that be fair to say? Would that be fair to say, Mrs. Flippianis, that the money's being parked there at the moment?
Mr. Chair? Can I answer that?
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, through to members of council, recommend tonight is continue to leave the numbers as they are noted in the report. It's a placeholder. Once the audit comes back and we know officially what our surplus is, then we can have that dialogue in terms of bridges, roads, whatever it might be. And there's going to be recommendations coming forward when that audit does come forward based on that. And at that time, I would recommend maybe that's where we decide if you want to use the 15,000 on top of some of the surplus with some recommendations that we bring forward, that would be the time. In addition to that, we're hoping to have an answer from OSIF for the funding grant as well. So hopefully if we can get the funding grant approved, along with a little bit of a surplus and maybe utilizing this 15,000, maybe with a few extra dollars here and there, whatever the numbers come out to be, we can get one of the bridges completed. So right now, I would just recommend what the Director of Finance is saying right now is just use this as a placeholder, and in future, we will decide exactly where they're going to be placed on what specific project, once the audit is complete.
To you, Mr. Chairman, the CEO, I appreciate you. I just took that as the literal and the fact that I know there's a lot of bridges, and I'm sure the residents here can drive and tell you that there's bridges that you repair, and they would probably like to see the bridges repaired as compared to going into IT. But if it's just a place to put it, then that's fine. But that's not how I took this. I took it that the literal, that no, it's going into there and the bridges aren't getting much money, and I look at the bridges saying, no, they need a lot of money. But that's fine if that's the way it's going, then I will withdraw my amendment, Mr. Chair. As long as we deal with it down the road and those things are addressed. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I need a mover and a seconder to withdraw.
No, we have a mover and a seconder on this motion, so you can either vote and lose it, or you can, the mover and the seconder could withdraw it.
Okay, so you're going to withdraw? Okay. Okay, Mayor Journey, one second. Councilor Trevetta's next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want some clarification. Ms. DeFilippis, just the line here that says the unspent 2016 operating funds from the road construction budget be transferred into the capital reserve. Why? I just want some clarification.
Through you, Chairman Bell, to Councillor Trombetta. In the 2016 budget, there were 3 projects that used operating funds for road work. It was the railway crossing study, the Abingdon Road, and streetscaping. The railroad study and Abingdon Road have come in under budget. So what we're recommending is the operating savings on those projects be transferred into the capital reserve as opposed to just going into the general surplus. We're estimating that savings at about $40,000. I don't know the exact amount right now because all the we haven't closed off 2016. So it's road work that came in under budget that we would like to transfer to a capital reserve.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mayor Journey?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Call the question.
So you need a seconder to call the question.
Okay, need a seconder to call the question?
We're already there.
I think we had one.
We're already there.
You're happy? Okay.
Do you just want to withdraw and do it?
No, he wants to withdraw?
Ask Doug if he wants to withdraw.
Do you want to withdraw?
No seconder to call the question, Mr. Chair.
We're already there.
We're there. Seconder, Councilor Trevetta.
You have to vote on that, no?
Okay, all those in favor?
Calling the question.
Call for the question? Yeah. Passed, we're carried.
Now
Okay.
the original motion.
Now, all those in favor of the original? Carried.
All right, next. You look more on
That's a lot of work. Okay, item A2417, Deputy Clerk Joanne Sheemy and Clerk Carolyn Langley, report RFD-C-02-2017, application for refreshment cart license and lease for portion of CIBC parking lot, Ken Brunaccioni, Dog Got It hot dog cart. Recommendation that report RFD-C-02-17 dated February 21st, 2017 regarding application of refreshment cart license and lease for portion of CIBC parking lot, Ken Brunaccioni, Dog Got It hot dog cart be received, and that 2, that the request to enter into a monthly lease agreement with Ken Brunaccioni for lease of a portion of lands in the CIBC parking lot as outlined on Schedule A be approved, and that 3, that the application for the refreshment cart license as submitted by Ken Brunaccioni, subject to council's approval for entering into a monthly lease agreement, be approved, and 4, that the bylaw be presented to authorize a monthly lease agreement with Ken Brunaccioni for the use of a portion of land in the CIBC parking lot for the hot dog cart. I need a mover and a seconder. Councilor Chichak, Councilor Trombetta. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Okay. Item A25-17, CAO Chris Carter, request for additional representation, Regional Council for West Lincoln. Recommendation, council be requested to pass the necessary motion to initiate the process for a change in the composition of Regional Council to provide for representation for one additional representative from the Township of West Lincoln. That the change in the size of the Regional Council be in place for 2018 election, so be in effect for December 1st, 2018. I need a mover and a seconder. Mayor Joyner, Councilor Trombetta. Any questions, comments? Mayor Joyner?
So thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is a question to the clerk. So Madam Clerk, I see that we're now going to be sending or asking the Regional Council to deal with this. As I understood it, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I thought West Lincoln Council was to do their recommendation first to Regional Council, and then theirs was to be second. Can you please clarify that?
Through you to members of council, this is the recommendation that I received from the region when I discussed the issue with them recently, and they sent me some sample. This would start the process to say that we are looking for a rep, so this should do it.
Okay, so then we have to pass this at Regional Council, and then it comes back to West Lincoln Council for our recommendation.
No, this would go to the region and they will start the process. At some point, there will be a motion that will come back. It will be similar to the process in St. Catharines.
So all we really have to do is tell them to start the process. Cool. Thank you.
Any other questions, Councilor Chichak?
Mr. Chairman, is this going to make it for the 2018 election? I mean, it's February 2017, and if it took, by the time they get this through the regional process and out to the municipalities and back out for a vote, we've got to have this done by when? I believe the clerk.
Yeah. Madam Clerk?
Through you to members of the committee, this is definitely cutting it close. So we may run into some difficulties, but it is possible to do it, but we have to get it out there now. So.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried.
I want to double do that.
Okay. Item A2617, CAO Chris Carter, re-employee professional accomplishments.
Mr. Chair, through the members of council, this is a reoccurring theme, a very positive reoccurring theme for the corporation. Kudos to Lisa and to John for their accomplishments and continued educational services to the corporation. And again, I'm hoping this is going to be a trickle effect to our ratepayers and the services that we provide. So kudos to these individuals. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, item A2717, members of committee. Are there any verbal updates member boards, committees have required? Mayor Joyner?
So thank you, Mr. Chair. So two things coming up this Saturday. It's going to be a busy Saturday, actually. The first event is going to be down in St. Catharines. As you heard earlier tonight, Mary Champ was here from Big Brothers and Big Sisters. So we'll be looking for a team, and we've already registered for a team from West Lincoln to play, and our start time is 1 o'clock down in Port Dalhousie. So that'll be the first event from 1 to 2 o'clock. And then we'll travel down the QEW and end up at Grimsby for coldest night of the year. And I'm happy to say that we have a lot of people signed up under Team West Lincoln, led by our CEO, Ms. Vanessa Holm. She's got a team, and there's a lot of West Lincoln Library employees. They're going to be walking. Coldest night of the year is a chance to walk for homelessness and poverty, and the money that is raised goes to and for the first time, goes to actually all three West Niagara municipalities, both Lincoln, West Lincoln, and Grimsby. So I would suggest that all people, if you're not doing anything at 4 o'clock on Saturday, please come out, sign up. I know Brenda's nodding her head. She's, I believe you were there last year, Brenda, weren't you? Yeah. So it's a busy Saturday. So that's my community event.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing none.
See you there.
Okay, item A2817, members of committee, other business, items of foreign nature. Are there any? Seeing none. New business, I'm not aware of any at this time. No, okay, seeing none.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
could we move the confidential item to the end of the next committee meeting so that we don't have to ask our friends in the audience to leave and come back? I should have done this, I guess, at the beginning of the meeting and when we were moving things on the agenda, but since we still have such a gathering, it would mean we'd have to clear the council chambers and then have them come back for the... So we recess. Let's recess this meeting.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Okay. Yes.
I kind of would be sort of in favor of that, but, you know, the problem is that we're gonna end the meeting and there's gonna be a leg there anyway once everybody moves around in chairs and that. So, I mean, we'll be able to get in and out of this confidential real quickly, and then we'll move everybody outside into the hall, and we'll get through it, and we'll bring them right back in again.
Yeah, Councilor Chichuk.
Can I just put a motion forward that we move item, what is it? Item who?
2917.
2917. We recess this meeting and move the item to the end of the recreation meeting so that we do not have to clear the chambers while we deal with this item.
Okay, need a seconder? Councilor Bilsma. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3. Carried. Okay, we'll take a short recess, and we will be back.